Alright, what is up, guys? It's Kieran, K-Rod here. I'm going to be addressing another part 2 for my previous video, why Tyson Fury cheated against Deontay Wilder. Alright, let's get right into it. See, now, for some of you people that are Fury fans, you guys are bitches. Alright, well, let me explain why Fury cheated. Again. So, for Tyson Fury, when he decided to come out of his way and started cheating to take steroids, he actually got caught. Actually, even taking steroids. I believe it was in one of his fights in the UK. Oh, and then on top of that, he tampered his gloves as well. And I forgot what fight it was, but it probably would have been the Klitschko fight, or maybe. Now, I was gonna say let the Otto Wallen fight, but probably the Klitschko fight. But there was a part of the moment where his team actually tampered his gloves, and the referee, when he came to Fury's corner, he actually saw that his glove wasn't all the way fit in. And then, when he looked at Fury's glove, it wasn't even, positioned properly. And I guess to a certain standard, he needed to actually, fix his glove so that way, Fury didn't cheat. But when that, came out of its way, it seemed like that Fury didn't have the ability to be as dirty as he was within the Klitschko fight. But for some odd reason, when it came to the Deontay Wilder fight, why is it that Fury did not cheat? I guess all the way through with tampering his other glove when it only came down to one glove. That's another question. If you're such a good fighter as Tyson Fury claims to be, why the fuck do you have to cheat? There is a big problem in boxing, and it's called lying, and it's called being a deceitful piece of crap. There are too many fucking fighters that die in the ring due to people's stupid antics like what Fury does. There are plenty of boxers that have died in the damn ring. People like Billy Collins. Let's see. People like... Well, I mean, to cheating... Well, I'd say for boxers that do cheat, Antonio Margarito, Luis Resto, people like... Who's that other fucking fighter? Oh, Marcos Maidana. I mean, plenty of other fighters. I don't need to make a list for them. They're there. When you watch those fights. But all I'm really saying is that when it comes down to any fight, me as a consumer that watches boxing and trains for boxing in certain occasions, fights should be fair. And nobody shouldn't be, having to deal with this type of crap where a boxer's life is being put onto the line to show that this fighter is not okay, and he's about to die or she's about to die. I don't know why people think that cheating is not I guess not as common in boxing, but it would not surprise me that if you've given every fighter a drug test, a good number of fighters, especially for men, would be exposed for taking steroids. And it's why? It doesn't make any damn sense. And, it's definitely unattractive to fans that find out that, oh, wait, this fighter's actually had, a history of taking drugs and using it in multiple fights. But back to Fury, there is plenty of evidence to show that he did cheat. For my previous video, I did talk about the wild boar situation. I wanted to explain that more, as Fury did get exposed for the wild boar meat situation. That this 70-year-old farmer, I think, he got hired by Fury to, I guess, give him wild boar meat. And this wild boar meat had, I think, like, some sort of, I guess it was like a steroids, right? And, the steroids was to, amp up his strength or make him more, active, in his fight. So that way he can get, like, the upper edge to win, obviously. But, when it came down to it, this farmer was obviously not happy for doing this, and he wanted to come out to expose Tyson Fury. And then, when Tyson Fury did get exposed, he threatened the farmer by telling him to shut the hell up. And I think Fury, paid him like, I think at least 2 to 3 million British pounds. I'm not too sure, but, he tried everything in his book to shut up that farmer. But, supposedly that farmer did not show up. And Fury basically tried to threaten him to make him shut up. And I don't know what happened after that. But he got into like a huge case with the UK. I think it was at the Boxing Commission for Britain. But he's been exposed for taking drugs. He's been exposed for getting into steroids. Definitely lying about not taking them. And then when it comes down that you actually were taking them, yeah, maybe that's why HBO made a documentary on Fury, on why he took these damn drugs. And then he claims to say, oh, well, he was battling through depression. Like, nigga, you were not battling through depression. You were, like, yeah, you were cheating. And to be honest, like, if you weren't taking other drugs and you actually fought like a fair fighter, then yeah, I would have a lot of respect for you, but I don't, because there is enough evidence to show that you did cheat. But on top of that, Walter's doctor from his rematch with Fury has showed a picture of Walter's skull being dented. And this isn't like a normal dent, this is a huge dent, like almost a dent to actually break a person's skull and possibly kill them. So why did Walter get this dent? How was that possible? And I believe his brother came out and actually showed the picture publicly on Twitter or Instagram, but Fury himself was trying to like deny that, to say, oh no, I didn't go that far, like that could have just happened out of nowhere. No, like when you fight someone, see, like this is why that I don't like Tyson Fury fans now, because they're now being dishonest and they can't say it. Yeah, they can't speak on anything factually correct on what is, I guess, truthful or dishonest, and they try to backpedal off of their inconsistent, arguments. And whenever you bring up the facts with them, they don't want to bring it back up with you to actually agree with you. But no, continuing on. When the documents or the photos have showed that Walter's skull nearly got crushed from the Fury rematch, a lot of, these critics from ESPN, old media, like mainstream media, were trying so hard to like shut up Walter, and the WBC was trying to, make sure Walter got this loss from Fury. And it was just so fucking pathetic. But, as that continued on, it became an absolute nightmare for, Fury, because Fury knows that he did cheat, but he tried so hard to even make the WBC, I guess, like, make Fury unaccountable or, immune to his actions. And, the WBC, like, refuses to investigate, Fury's, I guess his team, check his gloves and, make sure that he actually, was cleared for the fight. But obviously they didn't do any of that, because we all know that even from the Fury rematch, Fury was with his team. And if you actually think about it, I don't know if you guys noticed from the Otto Wallen fight, there's like some Mexican, I think Cutman, and I forgot who his name was, but he's basically the nephew of Antonio Margarito, or he's like the nephew of Antonio's uncle's brother, or like whatever. Basically, I think he is the nephew of Antonio Margarito, but this guy was the same guy that was with Fury's team of the Otto Wallen fight. And when he was with Fury's team, Fury got that huge cut from the Otto Wallen fight, right? And then he actually made sure that, I guess, Fury's cut didn't get so bad, but, when it actually did get bad, he actually stitched up pretty well. But when you saw the camera footage in the Fury-Wilder rematch, inside the locker room, he was there. But then for some odd reason, news sources say that Fury fired him, when clearly he didn't fucking fire him. He was with Fury's team. And maybe that's why Fury needed to have that camera turned off, so that way that guy can tamper Fury's gloves. And not to mention, this is Antonio Margarito's nephew. So what does that tell you about the WBC? The WBC is a racist organization, and they do not have any interest to make sure any fighter is safe. If Fury is able to get away with that type of crap, to have people behind him, and to have himself co-sponsored with the WBC and the company that made his gloves illegally for the two Wilder fights, then what does that say about boxing? That's a huge black eye on the sport. But on top of that, if these type of fighters are going to get this extra, I guess, I don't want to bring, racial hatred into this, but complexion for protection type of insurance, which, YouTubers like Aki TV, he says hope insurance, but I just say fighter bias insurance, or fighter bias protection, because that's really what it is. It's just a bias of fighter, because, the WBC did not want Deontay Wilder to have, I guess, let the record broken for the most title defenses, for him being the WBC heavyweight champion. And, I guess, to my belief, Fury was to be that type of person, co-sponsored by the WBC, commissioning board, to, cheat in both fights, or to try to cheat. And, he was successful in the rematch, but obviously in the first fight, no, fucking Wilder, he didn't get, the best of Fury in the early rounds, but once it came down to, the later rounds, Wilder beat the shit out of Fury. Even Fury himself even admitted to say Wilder is a tough puncher. He's an insane fighter. Getting hit by Wilder is not normal versus any other heavyweight he's ever faced. And, from the very first fight when Wilder knocked down Fury, Fury didn't even beat the 10 count. The referee had to make the count so long for him to get back up and to actually, sustain in the fight. But no, for some odd reason, when it came down to, Deontay Wilder, against Fury in the rematch, for some odd reason, the referee wants to be counting, a little bit faster so that way he can get knocked out. It's like, that just doesn't make any sense, man. I don't know why people think like that's somehow okay, but let me tell you something. I really don't like seeing any fighter go through the type of crap that can be I guess exposed for whatever crimes that they get into. But I personally believe that if you cheat in any sport, you need to be held accountable for your crimes. Tyson Fury definitely had the intention to not only cheat, but to hurt Wilder and make sure he was probably killed. I don't know what else to really say other than yeah, this guy is a piece of shit, and he doesn't have the best interests for, making sure he fights fair. And on top of that, there's really no justice being served. We can just see that Tyson Fury does not have, any interest to even fight fair, as I'm sure other fighters would like to come out and say that he did have the intention to cheat in their fights with him. But, it's just so weird that, people outside of the sport know that he did cheat. And, I guess, one more thing before I sign off. If you know the photographer, I forgot his name, Robert Kaczynski. This guy took photos in the rematch of Fury and Wilder. But if you look at the photos for the first and second fight, Fury tampered his left glove. But on top of that, he also had to show, I guess, he had to, not show off to the referee. After Wilder knocked him down twice. And, he had to, reposition his glove to make sure, he had it tampered. So that way he can hit Wilder, I guess, the way he wants to hit him. And from the second rematch, it was the same thing. But guess what? This photographer had all the photos of Fury tampering his gloves during the fight. And he had to take those photos down. He was forced by the WBC or whatever commission that, didn't want these photos to be leaked out. And I mean, how the hell can you be a photographer not posting real photos? That doesn't make any sense. But you can see how corrupt boxing is. Nobody just doesn't come out of their way to post photos and then just take them down after it shows oh, wait a minute, there's something fishy in these photos. So that's a huge red flag for Tyson Fury fans, and most likely for Deontay Wilder fans to see that this is clearly a setup, and the WBC knows it. And even, this is why that I even hate the state for the same reason. But the Nevada Athletic State Commission knows this. I'm pretty sure a lot of Wilder fans have came out to say that they've been calling the Nevada Athletic State Commission or a State Athletic Commission to try to report on these allegations that Tyson Fury has gotten into and to demand them to investigate it. And guess what? They don't. So what does that tell you about what Fury is trying to do? He's trying to cover up his mud tracks. He's trying to hide the dead bodies he's been saving. up for quite a while. He doesn't have the interest to be a boxer. He has the interest to become a mob boss. And for all you Tyson Fury fans that want to deny it, like, oh no, Fury, he passed like these Veda tests for his drug testing, blah blah blah, like he didn't do anything wrong, man. Like Tyson Fury fought fair and square. Walter, he a bum, man. No. You guys don't fucking get it. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have not even taken a punch. You've never stepped into the boxing ring. Like, you've never actually see how difficult and how insanely hard, it is to train, make weight, fight on certain occasions that are a little bit weird in certain parts of the world, but you're dealing with the judges, you're dealing with a referee that doesn't even acknowledge certain fights to be fair, or has the intention to be a cheater himself or herself, whatever, to, give the upper edge for a fighter. And then on top of that, just dealing with corrupt people, people inside a fighter's corner, giving them fucking, supplements or whatsoever just to fucking cheat in a fight. And, all I'm saying is I'm not upset at the fact that, Wilder didn't put on his best performance to beat the shit out of Fury, which I personally believe he would have beat the shit out of Fury if it was a fair fight in both fights. But it's when you cheat and you have to prove to the world and millions of fans watching, if not billions, to see you protect yourself from cheating during the fight. And even on top of that, you had to make sure that it wasn't exposed for people to see, something fishy. That just shows that your character is weak. Your mentality is very low. And you have a high self-esteem. So I think for Tyson Fury, he definitely needs to get prosecuted because he's not a fighter, man. I don't know what else to really say other than Tyson Fury, you're a piece of shit. And I really hope that you do get prosecuted because Wilder, he has until I think December 28th to make a decision if he wants to proceed with the rematch. Oh, and on top of that, one final thing. Anthony Joshua knows that Fury cheated as well. And I think, honestly, Joshua wanted that to happen so Joshua can avoid Wilder. Just saying. I'm just saying that. And I'm sure, Joshua, if you're watching this, you don't want to have those hands touched by Wilder. You don't want Wilder to beat the shit out of Fury as expected and have Wilder fight you. Because and every other bitch-ass British fighter knows that if Wilder comes to you and he actually beat the crap out of you on your land, you would never want to come back to the States. Because I really do believe British people have a tendency to lie. As well with anybody else. I'm not trying to be, politically insensitive. But if you have to cheat in order to get your way to the top, that just shows that you have a pathetic character and you're most likely a criminal in real life. So, fuck you Tyson Fury fans. I hope Deontay Wilder gets justice. So, I will see y'all later. And, fuck cheaters in boxing, man. For real. Alright, I'll see ya. Bye.